Good evening, my brothers and my sisters. Good evening to one and all. Good evening to all St. Lucians. But in a very special way, I wish to say good evening to our political leader, the parliamentary representative for Castries East, and leader of the opposition, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Let me once again greet the parliamentary representative for Dennery North and the second deputy leader of our party, Honorable Sean Edward, who is here with us tonight. To the rest of the executive members of the Babonnneau constituency group, a very special good evening. I also recognize other executive members of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the General Secretary, Comrade Leo Clark. I recognize Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the Member of Parliament for Castries South. And I must tell you, you saw Dr. Ernest Hilaire at the table, but Dr. Ernest Hilaire had to leave urgently. There are some matters, and I'm hoping that everything goes well, and he is able to join us very soon. I wish also to say good evening to Senator Joachim Henry, who has joined us tonight. Good evening and welcome. My name is Moses Jean-Baptiste. I am the parliamentary representative for VA4 North, and I'm also the chairman of the St. Lucia Labour Party. I will be your chairman for this evening's proceedings. In a very special way, I wish to recognize Brother Michael Gasper, who was the former parliamentary representative for this area. Let me welcome Brother Gasper. And please, you can let me know if others have joined, when others will join us, so that I can recognize them. In a special way, there are so many prominent brothers and sisters from Babonnneau who are here tonight, but please remember that we are also addressing all of St. Lucia. We are also addressing St. Lucians who will be following us online. And we are also addressing all sons and daughters of St. Lucia, whether they support the St. Lucia Labour Party, whether they are worried about what's happening in St. Lucia, whether they have not yet decided which party they will support in the next general elections. But we are welcoming all St. Lucians to this, our first in a series of town hall meetings called Town Hall Tuesdays. I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, that this is just the first in a series of meetings, and you are welcome to join us as we move to other constituencies. I welcome the people of this beautiful constituency called Babonnneau. Many other constituencies claim to be the most beautiful. I think VA4 North is the most beautiful. But then I may get some challenges from Dennery North and Castries East and Castries Southeast. So I will stay in my little corner and say, I am happy to be in this beautiful constituency of Babonnneau. Welcome to the young people in particular. I see a number of young people here and members of the media who are here. We have representatives also of our auxiliary groups, Miss Poppy from the St. Lucia Labour Party Youth Organization and Sister Della from the St. Lucia Labour Party Women's Organization. Let us welcome them as we continue our meeting. Before we continue, I wish to say to you that the Town Hall Tuesday series of meetings, Town Hall Tuesdays, will give all St. Lucians an opportunity to share thoughts about our country's development. It will give you an opportunity to express your feelings about the state of our country. It will also help you to seek clarification on the stated policies of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Our Town Hall Tuesdays will give you an opportunity to interact with the leadership of our party, to interact with the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. It will give you an opportunity to make recommendations to our party on policies for the next government of St. Lucia. It will also give our various spokespersons in the St. Lucia Labour Party an opportunity to speak on policies, and tonight we have the spokesperson on sports and so many other areas, Honorable Sean Edward, who will speak to you. We have Dr. Ernest Hilaire, and again, we are hoping that Dr. Ernest Hilaire, let's welcome Brother Shalry. We are hoping that Dr. Ernest Hilaire can join us in a minute. And I will also speak to you on a few issues relating to agriculture. You can ask your questions. I am hoping that you are noting your questions and your concerns. I note many of you have notebooks. Thank you very much. You will be given an opportunity to ask questions, and you'll be given an opportunity to allow us to clarify certain issues, certain concerns about the developments in the country. Again, I will serve as your chair for the night, and I am hoping that within an hour and a half, all of you will be able to ask questions, you will be enlightened, and more importantly, you will leave us with some very important recommendations. Samakadia say, activité ça là, qui nous a créé Town Hall Tuesday, mardi Town Hall nous, qu'a point coup en Babonnneau pour première fois, avec nous allons continuer en toute l'autre constituency. Pour qui ça nous a fait ça? Nous avons fait ça parce que nous voulons tous ces lycéens qui les bas, ces lycéens qui parlent les bas, nous voulons tous ces lycéens participer à un programme avec policy qui nous mettait ensemble pour développer le pays cette lycée, là nous vivons en gouvernement. Nous voulons tout le monde participer, jeunes monde comme grand monde. Nous voulons tout le monde dire nous qui ça qui a affecté ou qui manière où le pays a développé. Avec qui manière ou qu'a comprendre ça nous-mêmes qu'a dit en les agricoles, en les affaires tourisme, en les toute qualité sujet. Nous ni leader parti nous, honorable Philippe Dieu-Pierre, nous ni l'autre membre parti nous qui en parlement qui a parlé en les différents sujets comme agricole avec sport avec différents bagages comme ça. Avec Oswea, nous avons une présentation avec ou avons un chaitan pour me des questions. Comme ça, moi c'est Moses Jean-Baptiste, avec moi c'est membre parlement Vieux-Fort Nord, avec moi c'est chairman Labour Party, avec moi qui conduit les affaires à Oswea. Ça me dit c'est les pour questions venir. Nous avons bon 4 questions, avec après 4 questions, membre parlement qui répond à ces questions. Si vous avez une pièce de recommandation, vous voulez nous faire, qui manière le pays a développé, avec qui manière vous voulez le pays a développé, nous avons aussi point ces points là. C'est un souhait pour nous discuter. Ce n'est pas un souhait pour nous tirer mettre. C'est un souhait pour nous joindre conseil parce que nous avons préparé tout partout où nous pays cette ici. Avec nous avons parlé avec toutes les gens cette ici pour parler comme nous, pour tirer cette ici en qualité fête là il y a des là. So moi merci, Nadou, merci pour venir avec nous commencer. Before I call on the first speaker, who will be Honorable Sean Edward, who will make a short presentation on youth and sports, I want to say a few words to you. I want to say a few words to you about agriculture and the rural economy. Avec moi, savent qu'on nous aller à chaque pli moun ka atwe. Nous ni place, you can come in, you are welcome. I want to tell you, my sisters and brothers, that I served in the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party, in the administration of the St. Lucia Labour Party, between 2011 and 2016. December 6, 2011 to June 2016. And while I was Minister for Agriculture, I believed, as I do believe, still believe, that agriculture, fisheries, cooperatives, and all activities relating to the rural areas can contribute significantly to the development of St. Lucia. Gouvernement Labour Party te toujours ça avec toujours te ka faire activité pour assurer que agricole, ça fait les pêches, ça fait pharma pour en place qui est important en développement pays Saint-Lucie. I continue to believe that there are three major areas that any government who is serious about agriculture must address. Avec si un gouvernement pas qu'à adresser ces bagages là, farmer a une difficulté, and many of our rural areas will have serious problems with unemployment, and we see what can happen when many people from the rural areas come to the cities to look for work. Number one, we believe that governments must create an environment that will cause farmers, fishers, and people who are in agriculture to generate wealth. Ça veut dire, si farmer avec pêcheur, avec moun qui a fait jam, avec jelly, moun qui a fait bagay avec coco sec, différents bagay comme ça, moun qui a vendu coco en chouye, si on pas qu'à faire pli l'argent, then gouvernement pas qu'à faire travail pour faire ces moun ça faire pli l'argent. And one of the very important things that was done by our government was to pass a law called the Agriculture and Fisheries Incentives Act. And that law explained all the benefits which farmers and everybody in agriculture were entitled to. So for the very first time, people who had businesses in agriculture could get 10 years of tax rebates. In other words, your business could get a 10-year tax break. For the very first time in law, fishers and farmers and people who are agro-entrepreneurs, munkini business agricole, can go to the act to find out exactly what kind of duty-free concessions they could get. And for the first time in law, we were arguing that farmers should not try to make things worse around the rivers, and we were suggesting that you will get incentives if you cultivate a certain distance away from the rivers. And so we tried to create a better environment for the farmers and the fishers. We also increased the rebates that fishers got for the gas by 100%. And it is the Labour Party government which introduced technology like fads so that the fishers do not have to go too far out to catch fish. So that's one. We believe that this government has not done anything significant to improve the environment for farmers and fishers to generate greater wealth. In other words, what have they done? You see what they have done with the fisheries complex. You see what they have done with the meat processing plant, which was equipped and ready to go. They have given it, they said the building will go to the DSH project. And so that facility would have created opportunities for people who are farming pigs or goats or sheep or rabbits. So that opportunity has been taken away from the farmers. We believe, and I believe, if you are any serious government, You must do things to encourage people to purchase local food, food grown locally. And the only thing we have heard from this government is that they are working on reducing the food import bill. Well, they have taken work that has been done, that was done before, and they are now trying to say that they are doing work to improve the food import bill. All of the evidence shows that since this government came into office, they have not significantly increased the quantity of local food purchased by farmers, by consumers at our hotels or in our supermarkets. Another very important consideration is that any government must create opportunities for fishers and farmers and people who create products out of agricultural produce to sell more to the hotels, in other words, to the export market. So number one, they must create the environment. Number two, they must ensure that we push local food production and consumption. And number three, they must ensure that we sell more to the foreign market, which is the hotels. My brothers and sisters, what have we seen? What are the results? Qui résultat nous avons un gouvernement ça avec agricole? Fig, bananas. When Ezekiel Joseph came, he said, bananas is the main thing, and they are putting all the eggs in the banana basket. Vous savez ce qui fait? Up to today, up to now, nous a exporté moins figues parce que les Labour Party était au gouvernement. By 1,000 tons. Nous avons exporté moins figues par 1,000 tonnes parce que les nous étions au gouvernement. Ou quand ministère a dit, il y a un parlement qui dit, ils ont exporté plus de figues parce que les derniers 5 ans, ça n'est pas vrai. Ça n'est pas vrai. Ils ont exporté l'année passée 14 000 échecs figues. Sorry, 12 000 échecs. Et avant ça, l'année 2015, il était en haut 14 700 figues, tonnes figues. So we have exported 1,000 tons less. And that's just bananas. You remember they said that contracts were already signed. And so banana farmers everywhere went to expand their fields. Any banana farmer who expands an acre of bananas, you have to spend about $15,000 per acre to rehabilitate your banana field. And what we are saying as a party is this. If you told the banana farmers that you already have the contracts, and banana farmers, because of what you told them, they went to expand their fields, they spent money, we believe right now you must pay the banana farmers the money that they've spent. This is what the Labour Party is saying. Because the banana farmers spent money with an expectation, because you said that the contracts are there. You said that every week 15,000 boxes will go. And today what is happening? Trial and error with shipment going to France, it going to England, it coming back. Short fingers, long fingers, fingers in boxes. They don't know how many fingers to put, whether it's a long finger or short finger. Trial and error. So the government is boasting now that they have trial and error in bananas. And we believe it is wrong to cause farmers to spend their money and there's no 10,000 boxes going to Martinique every week. We think it's wrong, and we believe the government owes the banana farmers. And we are going to push that the government pays the banana farmers the extra money that they spent to expand the banana fields. All of the other areas in agriculture are failed policy areas. Last week, the pig farmers met, ces farmers qui produisent nourri cochon, they met problems. The poultry farmers, problems. Every single area of agriculture is having difficulty. And so I end by saying to you that for over 3 years, the government of St. Lucia has been simply doing trial and error with agriculture. Trial and error with boxes of bananas. Trial and error, the meat processing plant, which costs over 24 million EC dollars. The Taiwanese gave us 12.5 million EC dollars, and the government of the taxpayers of St. Lucia put in the rest. And it is just there, and they have said they're going to give it over to the DSH project. So the farmers who should have been earning from the meat processing plant are not earning, and they are losing money. So I want to stop at this point and say to you, in agriculture, they have failed. Bananas, trial and error, worst failure ever. And they continue to tell untruths, blatant untruths in the parliament about it. The member of parliament for Babonnneau and the minister for agriculture is telling you untruths about banana production and banana exports. I thank you very much, and when question time comes, we can continue. But at this time, I wish to call on Honorable Sean Edward, who will speak to you briefly on youth and sports, and we will continue. So thank you very much. Let's hear it from the former Minister for Youth Development and Sports.
I must, in a very special way tonight, acknowledge the presence of the political leader, former Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for the constituency of Castries East, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, First Deputy Political Leader, former Minister for External Affairs and Parliamentary Representative for the constituency of Labrie, the Honorable Alva Baptiste, Party Chairman, Senators, former candidates, former parliamentary reps, executive members, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Jean Babonnneau, good night. I want to start off by saying that I'm extremely pleased and happy to be in Babonnneau tonight. And I'm very, very much impressed with the turnout. You need to give yourselves a round of applause for being here in such large numbers. Babonnneau is a very special community in St. Lucia. And Babonnneau has made significant contributions over the years to the development of St. Lucia in all major areas of national development. In the heyday of the banana industry, les figues, tes figues, Babonnneau take a faire un gros contribution pour mener figues en lait d'oc là et pour mener millions entoués en pays Saint-Lucie. In the area of sports, Babonnneau has produced some of the best sports personalities in St. Lucia. And as we speak, the West Indies under-19 opening batsman Kimani Melius is a son of the Babonnneau soil. We talk about Babonnneau's contribution in the realm of education. Jean Babonnneau a produit, il y a des primaires mettre l'école et puis teacher en pays Saint-Lucie. And when you go to the different ministries and you ask to see the different heads of departments, quite a few of them are sons and daughters of Babonnneau. So tonight we are in a good place. And Babonnneau has demonstrated since independence. Marquezo jamais en opposition depuis independence. Si Babonnneau dit c'est qu'on va aller, ou bien suivre Babonnneau. And tonight we've come here to engage you, to have a conversation with you. And we're not just here to give information, but we're also hoping to receive feedback from you that will inform our steps as we move forward to regain the reins of governance in this country. My brothers and sisters, there is so much happening in our country today, and we must have that conversation tonight. We are witnessing a style of governance that we've never seen in this country before. Ek lè mwen gade an audience la so ya. Mwen ka wè jeune moun Peut-être adap ou même vote, ok, vote pour première fois. Et je can also have a moun qui peut-être have vote press disco. So you've seen it all. And I'm sure you will agree with me tonight that what passes for governance in St. Lucia today is something we've never witnessed in the history of this country before. The largest cabinet of plus gros cabinet St. Lucia jamais ni. Nous ni ça right now. Et ça c'est gouvernement qui a fait plus bêtises et qui a mal travaillé dans un pays St. Lucia un jour qu'aujourd'hui. So tonight, my brothers and sisters, the question has to be asked. Are you satisfied with the way things are happening in St. Lucia today? Are you happy with the way that the United Workers' Party administration is governing St. Lucia today? Is Babonnneau a better place tonight under the UWP than it was 3.5 years ago? And we all know that the answer is no. And no is not the response that you will get when you put the question only to the residents of Babonnneau. But throughout the length and breadth of this country, là où parler by moun, ou engager moun, et qui pas matter qui constituency ou vote dernière élection, tout le monde a dit même by là et puis yon voix. That simplicity dans en position right now, ko nous bouger faire by vitement pour voir qui situation pas taper quoi plus mauvais passer pour le moment. And we say to you tonight as a party that we have the experience, we have the leadership, we have the technical capabilities to rescue St. Lucia from where it is today. And tonight we've come, as I said, to have that discussion with you. There are a lot of St. Lucians today who just stand by the wayside. They've been relegated to mere bystanders in the national development process. Et qui doivent regarder by fait. Et qui regarder étrangers qui run things qu'on nous dit. Et je veux dire aussi that whereas St. Lucia Labour Party, nous avons toujours parlé contre pièces d'émarge gouvernement point. Côté yo kamé gens étrangers avant cette liste. Nous avons toujours parlé contre ça. Mais nous avons also do that en développement anti-pays comme cette liste, in the development of a small island developing state like St. Lucia, there will always be room, there will always be a place for foreigners. But it should never be a situation where foreigners are favored over locals in this country. We were the ones, and our parents and our grandparents, who toiled, who made their contributions on the farms and elsewhere to build St. Lucia to what it is today. And it is not enough for us to just step aside and say, no. As patriots, all of us have a responsibility to rescue this country from this reckless government. And what about young people? What about the youth? You hear a lot of lip service being paid to the youth. A lot being said about young people. But there's nothing that I have seen from this government in 3 years that tells me that this is an administration that cares about young people. When it is convenient, they come and they talk about the youth. Lip service. But do you know that when we were in government, that the St. Lucia Labour Party had a plan for young people? And I can give you the assurances today, with the backing of my political leader, that when we return to government, we will unveil plans that will make young people very active participants in the national development process. It was the St. Lucia Labour Party government that devised the first youth policy. Youth. Mais Labour Party, en temps passé, tenait un document, un youth policy document, qui a dit nous qui manière jeunes monde si vous faire contribution dans le pays, qui démarche nous pour encourager jeunes monde pour développer koyo et puis bagaille comme ça. Ça resté là, gouvernement changé. Là nous entrons en gouvernement, nous joignons assistance from the Commonwealth Secretariat. Yo ban nous technical expert. Et moun ça la travailler pour Ministry of Youth Development and Sports. Et nous revamp youth policy. Because ça qui était en youth policy 10 et puis 15 l'année qui passé, ça pas ni ça anglais nous qui relevance to today's situation. So nous allons nous modernize youth policy. Les gouvernements flambeau vini. Celle ça a été pour faire, c'est point youth policy garder et puis by ça nous créer expression. 3 l'année pourquoi c'est youth policy you can parler about mais peut-être Yo là, yo embarrassé. Yo pas ni temps pour parler bay moun. C'est restruct yo ka fait pour cheval dans l'autre pays venir galop en cette ici at a time when young people are just there veiller soleil. These are the things that we have to stand up against, my brothers and sisters. Et moi pas vle ou kwe, et c'est Paul moi a dit avant. Et quand des moun ka mal comprendre. Pas jamais fait quoi ou kwe that nous a gagné élection. Pas jamais fait quoi ou kwe that élection qui a venir c'est ka yon qui aisé. C'est nous chez les parti qui a gagné élection. Moi ça do that much. Mais nous pour faire travail nous. Et parce que allez moi ouais Babonnneau et qu'a consider that Babonnneau c'est pas même un site nous les parti ni en caille site pour que des gens Babonnneau qui sortent dehors soit pour un meeting comme ça va moi un chai espoir, ça va moi un chai encouragement. Et moi ça on ni quitter Babonnneau ici à un parlementaire pour Denry North pour aller et puis spread word là avec 10 moun Denry et puis l'autre côté that Jean Babonnneau is some you happy. Et moi d'où les moi commencer. Babonnneau pas ni l'habitude quand t'avais quoi en opposition. Et s'ouvre les savent manière ba la ka pencher. I parle by Jean Babonnneau au kind of bon idea qui manière. And I'm very happy and very encouraged by what I see tonight. This is a government that borrows money excessively. Prêter l'argent. Tous les semaines nous en parlement qui prêter l'argent. Et quand moun cadeau, well si vous pas ça payer, moun pas de prêter yo. But there's more to it than that. Babad en un temps, c'est des pays à tout Jean Caraïbes là qui a gardé comme exemple. Et Babad te ka prêter. Et tous les fortnight Babad ka prêter. Et Jordia Babad dans situation ko économie qui plus mauvais en whole Caribbean non. Et yon c'est des marches là gouvernement Babad qui a travaillé et puis IMF et puis l'autre international agencies à point. C'est pour dire moun qui a travaillé avec gouvernement public servants that yon c'est manière pour nous un soulagement nous ne pouvons ouvrir la kaison. Et plus qui 2 et puis 3000 moun Babad qui a travaillé avec gouvernement et bien agency gouvernement qui a conduit right now yo la kayo et qui pas ni travail. So hodia nous pouvons arriver dans une situation comme ça. Mais si nous continuons à prêter l'argent qu'on nous pas mêlé comme gouvernement ça a faire en chaque zo qui a 6 ici et bien iso et puis la famille zo qui a travaillé avec gouvernement qui hen ko yo dans situation ko yo qui ni pour souffrir même ça Jean Babad souffert et ni pour dire c'est pas faute nous mais nous pour couper en la quantité de monde qui a travaillé et puis gouvernement. So all of these things, I know time is limited and pretty soon the chairman will give me a little wave that my time is up. Je suis content where Phil font à ça, you can mettre light on, a go football et puis go ceremony. My brothers and sisters, c'est le gouvernement Labour. It is the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party. In the last lighting cycle, we earmarked 4 playing fields for lighting. The Canries playing field, who are you making light on? That is our work. The Denry playing field, which we called the Remy Lesmore Recreational Complex, that is our work. The Fonso playing field, that is our work. And the 4th one we were supposed to have done, 4e on était supposé faire, c'était la FAG, mettre la FAG parfaite. So, là où est moun ka vini, gouvernement flambeau après 3 années. You pas ni rien pour moucher that you have there. 3 wasted years in government. So hot ko yo all they can do, c'est ces projects là nous a commencé à. C'est pour yo vinn kawe bossa à cause de ces projects yo. They have done nothing. Et si moi dernier temps moi dou qui ça nous a fait. Yo pas faire rien. Yo vini et yo fait pour je constituency moi. Et c'est pour ça moi côté Babonnneau avec moi confortable, moi ça parler Babonnneau pour donner du temps. Vous savez pour qui ça? Because Babonnneau pour nous tellement c'est monde l'associé qui a partition nous. Et là il y a shy similarities between nous et Babonnneau. Babonnneau is predominantly an agricultural community and so is Denry North. Et moi do about fig là où tu as planté nous tu as planté même manière. OK? Yo vini et yo dit moun a planté fig because you can go fig pour en France comme ça yo en gouvernement. 3 années et nous on dit dans 4e l'an ça. Première année a fini. 2e année a fini. 3e l'année a fini. Nous on dit dans 4e l'année gouvernement ça là. le gouvernement qui style là qui a gratté, regardez si au cas savez, si au cas savez, yon boîte figue. Except pour les femmes qui levé devant jour pour planter figue because that's the market in France. Up to un jour qu'aujourd'hui, up to a day like today, not a single box of bananas can be exported to France or the French territory. Violated expectations. So my brothers and sisters, we have to stay the course. Like some call Babonnneau top it also, yeah, because God, moon is still there. But my brothers and sisters, nous kaitan gouvernement qui vini et puis ça nous a créé a lot of rhetoric. Parole découché, même bail là over and over and over. Découché. Découché c'est bail ou à manger ou met un fridge ou vient venir manger ça c'est une pièce go. Oh freshness, the same thing over and over. And we have to be on our guard for these things. They will attack us. They will try to smear our names after they've started with Brother Hile. I've had my fair share of attacks. All of us, the political leader, they told you about the member for Library and materials at St. Jude. They're constantly attacking Dr. Anthony. That is their strategy. But Nadu Abai, Sayopa Havla, is that we are lion-hearted people in the Labour Party. We are not in this for fame or for name. We have a conviction that at a time when foreigners can come here and enjoy resources at the expense of ordinary St. Lucians, we have said to ourselves that we are going to be the ones to stand up for the marginalized and the vulnerable in this country. This is the same government on Mother's Day. They went into the streets of Castries and they took the trays of single mothers and they went to dump the trays somewhere and tell the single mothers, sortir les chimées. How can a government with a conscience do something like that? And when the Prime Minister was cornered on crime, you remember what he said avant election? Kenny cannot solve crime, but he can solve crime. And under him today, we've had the most murders in this country. But you know what? The political leader has said to us time and again that we should never, ever use crime to score political points. So every time we wake up in the morning and we hear there was a homicide, we all feel it, we cringe. That is not what we want for St. Lucia because we love St. Lucia. But dile on peut faire moun changer, ça yo te ka di, là yo to opposition. And every time they've called us to discuss crime, we've been there. There was a crime symposium. We could have simply said we're not going. The political leader was there. And I think he even made a presentation at that symposium. So it is not a case where we're just criticizing. But once a situation calls for us to stand up for our country, we always doing that. Do you know that the same government that is presiding over a horse racing track will go up to Sir Arthur silently, like a thief in the night, and try and jack up the fees for students at Sir Arthur to pay more for education? Ek Dominica qui tape coin par Diego Hurricane en des derniers bétoiles l'année ka di mamay Dominique ou pas payer pour college gouvernement qui paye ça ba. What is happening to our country? But nous te dit mamay, ek nous dit Christian avant élection dernier coup that le Labour Party vient en office. Pièce mamay pas de ka payer pour CXC because nous savons burden that they can mettre on les parents. We knew of the burden that was being placed on the backs of the parents. And then today, who is being blamed for everything in this country? Single mothers. Single mothers. So you do say single mothers qui ka fait ish. Même quand maman yo, c'est ça qui raise up pour crime and simplicity. Can you imagine that? Some of the hardest working people in this country are single mothers, you know. Single mothers wake up at 5 in the morning to make ends meet. Single mothers sacrifice themselves for their children and their family. Single mothers are people with pride and dignity. And single mothers never quit And sometimes when the men run away from their responsibilities, the mothers, they stay with one child. They stay with 2, 3, 4 children. And they see them to the end of the road, whether it is secondary school, primary school, or university. And today you're going to turn and tell me that these are the people you want to finger as being responsible, whether in part or wholly, for the crime situation in this country. My brothers and sisters, we have a lot to fight for. There are people in St. Lucia sometimes who give you the impression that they don't really care with what is happening in this country. But you know what encourages us in the Labour Party? The majority of St. Lucians still have a conscience. The majority of people in Babonnneau still want to see a St. Lucia that will prosper. They want to see a St. Lucia that will enjoy a reputation regionally and internationally that will be proud to identify with. Where you from? I could certainly see. You are going to say, we are going there one time. That is what we've been relegated to. And we must put a stop to that. So when we are re-elected to govern this country, we will have programs for the farmers, as the honorable member for Beaufort North would have told you. You will see playing fields being maintained again in this country. And as I was coming down today in Bexon, very large playing field, they've cut a piece the size of the hall. And you have about 20-something fellas sweating on that piece. Babonnneau, pour cheval, bœuf, cabrit, et puis mouton kamahe. Is that what we want for our country? But at the same time they're doing that, you're near a foreigner, you can buy millions of dollars worth of contracts pour mettre ça artificial surface et puis bagaille comme ça. My brothers and sisters, that's right. The playing fields in all of the pocket communities have to be maintained for 2 main reasons. One, the little boy who jumps out of his mother's balcony and he runs onto the playing field, even though it is just a little little square, he is developing his psychomotor skills. Secondly, he is engaging in physical activity. Right now we have a serious problem on our hands with chronic non-communicable diseases. We have to encourage our children to go there. And then there's the very important aspect of talent identification. Not every child will have an opportunity to just land at the Darren Summies Stadium. They start right there in the backyard. And for those of us who played cricket and football and we made it onto the national team, that is where we started, you know. Say T playing field seller. And then there was a progression up to national level. And then some of us went sub-regional and so on. So do not go about abandoning the small facilities and tell me that you have the vision of grandeur, so you'll just be giving millions of dollars to a foreigner to put artificial surfaces in select flambeau constituencies and tell me that this is sports development. When we were in office, every Saturday and Sunday, thousands of St. Lucians were converging on playing fields, whether it was a UWP constituency or a St. Lucia Labour Party constituency. There was a buzz in this country. St. Lucia was winning regional championships. Today, what do you get? And yeah, then very convenient. Okay, ku even tie porte et puis jeune moun pour mettre Facebook pour faire moun quoi ou like jeune moun. Il pas content jeune moun. Il pas content moun qui pauvre et puis moun qui malheureux. Mais il veut vote yo, ça tout ça il veut from you. Rien encore. Et tout ça il a fait. Evidence là ou ka wè qui moun il ka faveur. Premier ministre la venir budget et qui dit nous t'as l'année ça là tout seul. La kani between 5 et puis 7 hôtels qui a tapé bâti un pays cette liste. Ça c'est même nom là on savent. Ça c'est même nom là qui était ministre tourisme pour 5 années. Actuellement c'est premier ministre. Et quand tout le temps ça, il peut ça même mettre un extra chambre hôtel dans cette liste qui en bloc et bien en plywood. Mais il a venir avec 10 moun en yon l'année puis sélection qui a venir ou qui bâti 5 pour 7 hôtels. Babonnneau après ça. Babonnneau est-ce après ça? Ou passe après ça Babonnneau. Et moi ça vous bail point. And when the time is right, pas matter back imagine moun gen Babonnneau. When the time is right, Babonnneau pas waste time pour nous avoir pour nous have. And I'm very encouraged by the vibes coming out of Babonnneau. I'm happy to be in Babonnneau. the St. Lucia Labour Party is ready to regain the Babonnneau constituency. And when we form the government, you can rest assured that of the seats that will be ticked and counted for the St. Lucia Labour Party, Babonnneau will be one of them. Long live the people of Babonnneau. Long live our political leader, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Long live the St. Lucia Labour Party. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
I now invite to the podium, before we open up for questions and comments, which is the most important part of our session tonight, a man whom I am sure you can trust. Can you trust the Prime Minister? No. Do you trust what the Prime Minister says? No. I invite to the podium the Member of Parliament who has returned the Castries East seat to the Parliament of St. Lucia for the St. Lucia Labour Party. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but how many times? 5 times. I invite to speak to you, a gentleman who has said to us that it doesn't matter what they say about how I speak. I know I speak the truth. And that's what's important. The leader of our party and the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia, with your work and your help, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Let's hear it for him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremony, the chairman of our party. Let me welcome all my colleagues on the head table, all my colleagues from the Parliament, the senators, First Deputy Leader, and let me in a very special way welcome the people of Babonnneau. Let me welcome the people of Babonnneau, because Babonnneau has shown tonight that we are on the way to recovery and we are on the way to regain the Babonnneau seat for the St. Lucia Labour Party. Let me also welcome the young people I see in this crowd tonight. This party has a special agenda for the young people of St. Lucia. And as that agenda unfolds, we will say to you that we will not only speak about youth in terms of showmanship, in terms of Instagram pictures, or in terms of bluff and fluff. We are going to speak about the youth in a meaningful way, in a way that will improve their quality of life, in a way that will cause them to make a contribution to themselves and to the country. So our youth agenda is a serious agenda. And as we continue these discussions, we are going to ask the young people to join us so that we can speak to them, not speak to them only, but speak with them and listen to them as to how they envision St. Lucia and the St. Lucia in which they would like to live in. So I want to welcome in a very special way the young people in this audience today. I also want to welcome the people who will be watching us on television and on Facebook and other forms of social media. We know that there will be thousands of people who are listening to us, who will listen to us, because this program, this show, or this town hall meeting is going to be shown on Facebook and on Choice Television sometime tomorrow. So I want to say to you, tell your friends, those who missed us tonight, or those who are not here tonight, that they can see it live. Not live, they can see it recorded on Choice Television and on Facebook, both Choice Facebook and the Facebook of the St. Lucia Labour Party. My sisters and my brothers, tonight is a very special night. It's a night where we are beginning a series of discussions with you that we want you to join and partake in. It is a dialogue. It's a dialogue of truth, because this government, the government that I intend to lead, will be a government of truth, a government of openness, a government of transparency, and a government that will speak with you. We intend to have a government of meritocracy, a government where every St. Lucian would be given an opportunity to contribute to the country, to contribute to themselves. That is the kind of government that I intend to lead when you, the people of St. Lucia, put us into government. A government that will put people first. A government where our priorities will be in terms of people, not projects. Not a government that will put $13 million in a road, and next door to that road there's a St. Jude hospital that is in tatters. A government that will have its priorities based on the people of St. Lucia. A government with a people's agenda. And we make no apologies for saying that our government is going to be a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. We make no apologies. Our government is going to be a people's government. A government that will not be involved in mega projects. Projects that will not benefit people directly. A government that will have its priorities right. Can you tell me that a government will spend $13 million on consultants from Singapore, on consultants from far away places, and that same government will tell you they do not have any money to open or to fix the St. Jude Hospital or to open the OKEU Hospital? 13 million US dollars on a consultancy. And what did that consultancy give you? A series of pictures, a series of computer renderings, a series of dreams. Nothing real. I'm going to say to you, we welcome the President of Taiwan, but we will say to the President of Taiwan that this government's priorities are wrong. And this hospital should be opened a very long time ago. And when the people of St. Lucia will return the Labour Party to government, we will ensure that the St. Jude Hospital is fully functional and is open for the benefit of the people of St. Lucia and the people of the South. And I want to say that health services in St. Lucia will not be privatized under the St. Lucia Labour Party government. It's only a callous government that will be comfortable to play politics with healthcare. People are afraid to go to Victoria Hospital. People are afraid to go to Victoria Hospital. Because when they go to Victoria Hospital, in spite of the hard work of the nurses and doctors in that hospital, I want you to applaud these nurses and doctors for the work that they do in the hospital. In spite of their hard work, because of the conditions, because the government's priorities are wrong, because the government does not understand that many people in St. Lucia, or most people in St. Lucia, cannot afford to fly to Martinique, or to fly to Miami, or to fly to New York for medical attention. That you, the people, most of the people in this country, have to stay here for medical attention. So the government plays politics with health, the government plays the blame game with health, and people are dying. When we get into government, healthcare is going to be priority number one, and priority number one. My sisters and my brothers, we have warned the government that they are going the wrong way in terms of the economy of this country. We've said to the government that the debt situation, even if it may not be bad now, is going to be bad in the future. We have said to the government that this government has borrowed over $2 billion since it's been in office. And I want to ask you, what does the government have to show for borrowing that money? But this government continues. They continue to borrow at a rate that the young people in this country will have to pay for it. And I want to tell the young people of St. Lucia, they must stop this government. Stop this reckless borrowing. It is the young people who must stop this reckless borrowing, because they are the ones who are going to pay for the debt that this government is incurring today. The young people. Every island in the region has paid the price for excessive borrowing. Every island. Every island. Jamaica had to go to the IMF. Trinidad and Tobago, with oil, has serious financial problems. St. Kitts had to go to the IMF. Antigua had to go to the IMF. Dominica had to go to the IMF. Grenada had a homegrown IMF program. St. Vincent had to go to some minor restructuring. St. Lucia is the only country, and it's only because of the guidance and the foresight of the Labour Party government that we did not go to the IMF. And that's the only reason why. Because we manage that economy properly. And in spite of what you hear, when they came into government in 2016, they found a situation where they could employ the biggest cabinet ever in the history of St. Lucia. They found a situation where they could give every minister assistants, 1 and 2 assistants. They found a situation where they could change all the vehicles they had. They found a situation where they could borrow as much as they wanted to. And they tell you the economy was bad. If the economy was bad, how would you be able to do that when you just came into government? Further, the only significant growth rate that has happened in this country, the growth rate that they speak about, is the growth rate of 2017, when they inherited the policies of the St. Lucia Labour Party government. From that time, the growth has been 0.6%. And you heard that they said that the growth was 3%, but the CDB said that the growth was only 0.6%. And this government continues. They continue. And I want to tell you, in the budget statement that was read by the Prime Minister, St. Lucia is going to go into deficit, into serious deficit, while this government borrows for political reasons. All these islands went into crisis because of borrowing. All of them. Barbados. And the Honorable Sean Edwards spoke about Barbados a while ago. Barbados was seen as the pride, not only of the region, the pride of the world. Barbados has a higher quality of life than many countries in the world. Barbados had the best health system. But the Barbados government went into uncontrolled borrowing. Uncontrolled borrowing. They borrowed to build highways, they borrowed to build an airport, they borrowed to do all sorts of things. And right now, as we speak, Barbados is in the middle of an IMF structural adjustment program. And they have sent home thousands of civil servants. Not hundreds, thousands. And they have to further send home more civil servants because they have targets that they must meet with the IMF. And I'm putting it to you that if this government is not stopped from this reckless borrowing, St. Lucia, very soon, probably not next year, very soon, and that may be a burden that the Labour Party may have to carry. If this reckless borrowing continues, St. Lucia may have to go into the hands of an IMF structural adjustment if this government is not stopped. Because this borrowing, and I want to speak briefly because we're going to have another town hall meeting to discuss the airport only. This government came into power and they found all the work done for the construction of a modern airport. This Labour Party is not against the development of the Babonnneau International Airport. We are not against it. What we are saying is airport business is risky business. Airport business is big, big, big money. We are saying to the government, why are you borrowing nearly $600 million? $600 million to build an airport when you could have got that same airport built without putting that debt burden on the backs of the people of St. Lucia. That's all we are saying. We are saying to the government, governments all over the world are not borrowing for airports. They are putting airports through a PPP arrangement. But in St. Lucia, they are building, they are borrowing $600 million. And to add insult to injury, they are doing it by direct awards. So they are choosing contractors without even telling you which contractor they are choosing. And the answer to that is to have a Vitara ad on television, bluff and fluff. That is the answer. The answer is not telling you what would be the alternative if they hadn't gone that way. They're not saying to you that the country would have not incurred that debt. That fiscal space would have been expanded. So we could borrow money for schools. We could borrow money for re-education. We could borrow money for generating economic activity. We could borrow money for putting in place the youth economy that we speak of. We could borrow money for doing these kind of things that would improve the quality of life of the people of St. Lucia, and not borrow money to build a massive airport and put $600 million worth of debt on the people of St. Lucia. That is because this government's priorities are wrong. It is because they do not understand that people must be the center of development. Development must be about people. It must be about the quality of life of people, not big buildings, not bluff and fluff, not showmanship, not a matter of being able to speak with an accent, not a matter of being able to appear as if you are doing things where the people of the country suffer, where the people of the country cannot get adequate health care, where there's hopelessness among the people of St. Lucia. It's not about speaking about economic growth, and young people have no choice but to leave their families and go to work on cruise ships. It's not about that. It is this government is not interested in that kind of thing. And elections are coming, so the government is going crazy. Elections are coming, so you're going to have all kinds of projects. All kinds of projects. But, my sisters and my brothers, all these are flashing mirrors. Because the intention is to give the impression that after they have wasted 3 years, they've wasted 3 years. And I told them in the parliament one day, I said to them, 4 years is not 40 years. I told them so. They laughed. They said, you just start to cry. Now, the time is there. Time. So now the time to bluff and the time for fluff has started. So in the next couple of months, you will see several things happening. You will see all kinds of things, all kinds of sword turnings, all kinds of ceremonies, all kinds of things. Just to fool you, just to make you believe something is happening while the people of this country are suffering. And I want to put it to you, that in spite of what it tells you about the economy of St. Lucia, you are not feeling it in your pockets. How many of you feel better now than you were 3 years ago? How do you feel better now? Can you access better health care now? Is the cost of living lower now? Can you go to the supermarket and get more things for your dollar now? While they say the country is improving, you are not doing well. So I want to say to you, as I end, that this is the first of a series of dialogues that we will have with you. A series of dialogue that will tell you that our party is different. Our leadership is different. I am a leader who believes in results. I'm not a leader who believes in bluff and fluff. We have a country that we cannot deal with bluff and fluff again. We have tried bluff and fluff. Now we have to try honesty. We have to try transparency. We have to try dialogue. And I can assure you, we have to try trust. We have to trust our leaders. We have to trust the people in government. We have to trust them that when they speak, what they say is going to be the truth. And I can assure you that I will lead a government that is trustworthy, a government that will not allow corruption, a government that will ensure that justice is done to the people of St. Lucia, a government by the people, a government for the people, and a government of the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, our next Prime Minister. And we believe, we have hope, and we know that St. Lucia needs relief. We know that the farmers of Marquis, we know that the young people of Babonnneau who were promised ching ching in their pockets now understand that there's no ching ching and there's no dollars, because St. Lucians are not the ones who are first in this country anymore. It is our responsibility and our promise that we will support, encourage, and fight with Brother Philip J. Pierre to ensure that we bring back credibility to the governance of St. Lucia. At this time, I invite you to make comments or ask questions. We are going to take 5 questions or comments, and then the political leader will direct the comments or questions to any one of us to respond. I ask you to keep your questions or comments brief, because we have a number of people who want to make interventions. So just raise your hand, and we will take 5 at a time.
I have quite a number of questions and statements. I'm going to try to run through it quickly. I think definitely the Labour Party and the men and women of the Labour Party have proven time and time again to be head and shoulders above what passes for governance in St. Lucia at the moment. So can we say that the Labour Party will ensure that we have public debates on the issues, where a member from the Labour Party sits across from a member of the ruling government and debates the issues on national television? That's one. Secondly, I realized that I think this week there is something for CARICOM going on in St. Lucia. The flags are at the VG roundabout and at the Gablewoods roundabout. The same CARICOM that was almost split in half by the actions of our Prime Minister. And I have not heard much from the Labour Party regarding that. The next one is the attack on our media. And this one really hurts, because this morning one of the programs that I usually get up to listen to, Yadi and Jahim, for some reason, there was no political discussion. And it appears that all of the media houses that attempt to give or attempt to question this government seem to be muzzled. And my question is, not what will the SLP do when they get into power, because I know you all have never been, despite what some want to say, you all have never been ones to muzzle the media. But what will you all do to prevent it from happening again? Yeah, this one is a little long. This one is about how do we safeguard our democracy? The last one, yes. Right now we have a group of men and women who are bent on hijacking our country and ignoring the rules. It is obvious that honorable men and dishonorable men get elected. So my question is, how do we enforce the acts that should prevent dishonorable men and women from being able to run for elected office in our country? All right?
Thank you. Let me thank you for these questions. The first one, you asked about debates. The Labour Party is ready and willing to take part in any debates that are properly structured, debates that go according to particular rules and regulations. The Labour Party is willing and able to take part in them. But there's a debate that happens anytime the Parliament is on. So I invite you to listen to these debates, and you will see what happens there. You will see the quality of the men and women, or the men in the Parliament for the St. Lucia Labour Party. On CARICOM, we are regionalists. We are regionalists. The Labour Party believes in CARICOM. The Labour Party believes in integration. And that is why we were very disturbed when St. Lucia broke ranks with the CARICOM countries as far as Venezuela is concerned when they joined the Lima group. We were very concerned about that. And we are also very concerned that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Transport is speaking about leaving the Aviation Authority, which is a CARICOM organization. We're very concerned about that. The Labour Party is the party of integration. As far as democracy is concerned, we think that there should be constitutional reform. And when we left government, we had formed a committee. A committee comprising of people from both sides of the political divide to discuss constitutional reform. And this government has refused to move forward. So one of the first order of business when we are returned into government is to begin the process of constitutional reform, or to continue the process, a process that we started when we were in government.
One of the ways that the St. Lucia Labour Party will endeavor to deal with that issue of debates is to have more regular sessions of Parliament so that the issues could be properly ventilated. Because parliamentarians actually go to the House to debate government policy, to debate the budget, to debate borrowing, and a lot of research, a lot of preparation go into those presentations. And therefore, the appropriate place for parliamentarians to debate would be in the House. So that's the control that we would have when we are in government, to ensure that Parliament meets regularly, so that people could actually be aware of the key issues of the day. And we do not take 5 months before we call another sitting of the Parliament. You raised a very good point about CARICOM, that the very man who was at the center of the split is now taking over the chairmanship of CARICOM and having to coordinate trade and foreign policy. Actually, we have treaty obligations for us to coordinate trade and foreign policy. But you have a prime minister that pays absolutely no regard to the rules of engagement in the diplomatic sphere and will just do things vai-ti-vai. It's a vai-ti-vai government. Obviously, we have no control over what he does, But at least when we return to office, we'll ensure that we restore St. Lucia's reputation. And on the third issue of ECA, the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority, is among 4 institutions that we have in the OECS. We came together to pool our resources so that each island in the OECS will be paying a lower amount so that we maintain oversight over our airports. In fact, under international law, every country is responsible for having a regulatory authority. Okay? So you must have one. It's very expensive for each of the OECS countries to have a regulatory authority. Yes? So therefore, we pool our resources together through ECA. St. Lucia has 2 airports, others have 1. So based on that, there is a formula. So you put into ECA, you know, in terms of the weight that you carry in that configuration. Leaving ECA and going to Trinidad will not make life better for us. In fact, it's going to create a lot of dislocation. First and foremost, we'll have to go on the Trinidadian law. That's the first thing. Now we have what they call N-registered aircraft. Every country in the world has their own registration. For St. Lucia, it is J6, what you call Juliet 6. For America, it is N, what they call November. In the United States of America, there are approximately 44,000 airports. And you have thousands of N-registered aeroplanes. When a small aeroplane leaves the United States of America and goes to St. Lucia or St. Vincent, they will not provide oversight. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. FAA is the body that regulates aviation in the United States of America. So if a little plane leaves America, they are not going to follow that aeroplane to provide oversight. Therefore, St. Lucia must provide oversight. The aircraft could just be flying if there's no oversight and just fall on the Babonnneau Secondary School because there is no oversight, no airworthiness, etc. So we have to ensure that they are registered under our law so that we provide the oversight. So those aeroplanes are generally registered under Part 135 of FAA. But there is Part 121 dealing with the commercial aeroplanes. That is where the US comes in and follow those aeroplanes to other jurisdictions where they operate, because the United States is concerned about what comes back into the country. So when we go to Trinidad, and let's say Trinidad takes over the operation of St. Lucia, the FAA will have to trigger an audit of Trinidad to see whether it can undertake the responsibility of dealing with an additional island. Trinidad has a big stake in that because they have to maintain what is called Category 1 status. That is the only way your aeroplanes will be able to go to the States. If you do not maintain that Category 1, you cannot go to the United States. And they have Caribbean airlines, they want to go to the United States. So that's the second issue. The third issue is going to be more costly. And Trinidad will not allow N-registered aeroplanes to just be flying around, like what the St. Lucian government believe will happen. So therefore, it is not in our best interest to go that route. So a St. Lucia Labour Party government will ensure that we do not move away from ECA. Not only don't move away, but strengthen ECA so that it could serve our purposes more effectively. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Alpha Baptiste. We will, before we go to the next set of questions, the brother asked about the media, and I'm sure our record, the St. Lucia Labour Party's record in relation to the media is very clear. Our record, many of our own supporters, they have this little thing, they said, well, when Dr. Anthony was Prime Minister, he allowed too much freedom in the press. But the St. Lucia Labour Party believes in freedom of the press. You realize one of the first things that was done by the United Workers' Party administration was to shut down Radio St. Lucia. Freedom of the press. Well, we can debate what freedom of the press is, but we would never do what the United Workers' Party has done to the press. I can tell you that.
I'm a proud farmer from Babonnneau, and everyone might agree and have to agree that without food, we cannot survive. And agriculture should be on the top priority of any government. The top priority, because without food, we cannot have education, we cannot have nothing without food. And it is so sad that presently, we do not have an agriculture minister, because his absence, especially he's the parliamentary rep for Babonnneau, his absence has been like he's not alive. And it is sad. It is really sad. Even I myself, I believe in dialogue. I believe in talking to people. Communication is key. And I have made efforts to try to meet with the minister, at least to meet with the farmers, at least to have dialogue with the farmers. Let us share our views, what is affecting us. And this has been, he's always unavailable. It has been like he's not even here. And it is so sad. Now my question to the panel here, what will be done for agriculture, especially when it comes to technical support, when it comes to financial support, because especially after a storm, we the farmers, we suffer mightily. What will be done to assist us financially to get back on our feet? Our irrigation system, our pump, everything is gone. We know insurance is something that we cannot afford as farmers. It is, even the insurance companies, because of the risk, they do not even want to dive into such risk with us. So what will be done to assist us financially? And also what will be done to assist the young farmers? Because I know this community has a lot of young farmers. Young people, maybe elsewhere, don't want to venture into agriculture, but not Babonnneau. A lot of young people are interested and are now young farmers. So what will be done? And the third question is that what will be done for marketing? Because we have a serious problem with marketing. Farmers, we can produce. I know that. We the farmers, we can produce in St. Lucia. But we have a problem with marketing. We lack marketing. And I have not seen the efforts that has been put forward for marketing, especially fresh produce, vegetables and fruits. I haven't seen that. Maybe we had the banana industry, it has fallen, and right now we need something that will lead us to the next century. We need something substantial. So what will be done for marketing? Thank you.
Okay, first of all, let me thank the brother for the questions, and his questions relate to agriculture, first of all, to the poultry industry, and secondly, to marketing, farmers, and what will be done for farmers. I can only speak about my experience as the former Minister for Agriculture, and I can only speak about what we did when we were in government and the results of what we did when we were in government. I say all the time to people that when you look at the results of what we did, if you go to the social and economic review, you look at what happened in agriculture before we came into government in 2011. You look at what happened to the banana industry. You look at what happened to vegetable farmers and chicken farmers and pig farmers and farmers who are doing agro-processing. When you look at the farmers who are into horticulture, as we commonly say, people who plant flowers. When you look at farmers who are growing sea moss, now you hear a lot about sea moss. I'm so proud of it because I know of all the things that we did to ensure that all of these subsectors recorded significant growth. So I can speak about my own experience as minister and to tell you that a Labour Party government will continue and intensify the policies, the things that we did, the activities that were on the ground which assisted farmers to increase their profits and to increase their sales, whether it be at the hotels or at the supermarkets. I just want to give you two examples quickly. In St. Lucia, we probably have about 30,000 school children, about that. Let's subtract 10,000, and let us say we have 20,000 school children. Any serious government, you can simply calculate how many pounds of watermelon, how many heads of lettuce, how many, I mean, you can go on cassava and so on, that can be produced by our farmers and integrated into the school feeding program at our schools. I can speak confidently about this because we did it and we tried it. I can say to you that Ezekiel Joseph and I have a long-standing debate about agriculture. He believes in production. So he came into the ministry when they won the election and said, to improve bananas, you must increase acreages. You must have more bananas. All farmers go back and plant bananas. My argument is you do not improve profits of farmers by simply telling them to plant more. You improve it by efficiency. So if a farmer has 10 acres on the bananas, you help the farmer produce more tons per acre than to let him spend and have more acres of bananas. The same thing for vegetable farmers. The way to help vegetable farmers is not to tell vegetable farmers, go and plant more lettuce, go and plant things. The way to help vegetable farmers is to devise programs in St. Lucia and in the hotels so that St. Lucians want to eat more watermelon from St. Lucian watermelon farmers. That is where the problem is, marketing, as he said. And if we spend more on local marketing and you connect it to health, you connect it to health, diabetes, hypertension. When we were in government and I was in parliament arguing about coconut water and giving thousands of coconut plants all around St. Lucia, they gave me jokes because I said, "Nuga bai tut mun cocoa." You remember that? And we brought in tissue culture coconut from Mexico. We also had a program to grow coffee. And Ezekiel Joseph and them laughed at us. Why are you growing coffee? And we were trying to reintroduce coffee production throughout the areas. And a place like Babonnneau, because of your microclimate, you are cooler than a lot of other places and other places, Soufrière and so on, you could grow coffee. So my response to you, my brother, is that we know the techniques and the answers because we were doing it. We knew that you have to collaborate with the hotels. And that's how the virtual, the system with the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association came about. And long before, in 2006, during that government with former Minister Ignatius Jean and company, how do you think Hotel Chocolat and all of these things came about? It's because the St. Lucia Labour Party has always had a superior agriculture policy. When we were there, we introduced the Agricultural Incentives Act. Before my time, Minister Cassius Elias, there was a study in 1999 that developed all the programs for livestock. And that is how the abattoir came about, the idea for the abattoir. In 2001, there's a cabinet conclusion, I think it's Cabinet Conclusion 168, that actually demarcated lands at Boseju for the abattoir. When we came into government, we fought for the quota, the increase for chicken consumption, local chicken consumption in St. Lucia. We had a lot of problems because there are certain international things that we were fighting with. But we increased that. We went to the fishers and ensured that the fishers had proper landing facilities. Those that were done in the previous Labour Party governments, the few fought ones, and so when we came in as minister, we built 2 new ones, Servants Bay and Monrepo. We went into the CMOS production, new varieties, and we tried to develop a new mariculture industry, where CMOS is being, now dried CMOS being exported to England, to America, and all of that. So I agree with you, and our political leader has said it many times. No matter how many hotels you have with big boats, big ships coming, if you cannot integrate agriculture, your craft, your local industries to the tourism, you can never grow your economy like you should. You have endless millions of tourists visiting and so on, and then economic growth goes down. How come? Doesn't that say something to us? And therefore, I want to promise you that a Labour Party government will not only continue to improve on our policies in agriculture, but we believe, we know how to grow agriculture because we have done it before. And just one thing before I close. The Floral Society, the cooperative, when I became minister, they came to me and said, we need to develop this industry. I ensured that they got office space. Because you know why? I believe we have to get to a time when we have to cause young St. Lucians, older St. Lucians, to purchase St. Lucian flowers, as you call it, heliconias, roses, all of that for their girlfriends, their husbands, their wives, their grandmothers, their aunties, and develop a floral economy in St. Lucia. We can do it. And so I agree with you that we cannot go very far if we leave agriculture behind. The St. Lucia Labour Party believes in agriculture. The results prove that we know what to do to grow agriculture, and I promise you that it will be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, just to identify with my colleague who did indicate that the Labour Party had a number of policies to assist farmers. I just want to say something to you when UWPs and others will come to you and say they're going to revive bananas and they're going to perform the magic. The problem that we have with bananas have absolutely nothing to do with political parties in St. Lucia. Okay? From the time the World Trade Organization was formed in 1995, America, together with Central American countries, decided to challenge the preferential arrangement we had on the EU market for our bananas. Okay? Now, before WTO, you had GATT. With WTO, they had a dispute settlement mechanism where any country could challenge what they consider to be unfair trade practices. So this is why we lost the preferential access to the EU market. The second thing is, because we are small, vulnerable, and open economy, and what you mean by open economy, it means that we depend a lot on international trade. When goods come from overseas into St. Lucia, overseas control the price of the goods because we are a very small market. When we export agricultural produce to a foreign country, they also control the price of our produce. And so that is the issue that we have. People talk about diversification all the time, and it's not very easy to switch from one thing to the other without causing fundamental dislocation. But my brother asked one thing about the financing for farmers. One of the things we recognized when we were in office, despite all the support we were giving to farmers and would have given to farmers, we recognized that we cannot raise sufficient revenue by just increasing taxes in the economy to finance our expenditure. This is one of the reasons why the CIP program came into existence, to generate millions of dollars into the consolidated fund so that we can invest in health, agriculture, education. And part of the millions that would have generated was to assist the locals in terms of taking care of their farms, producing more intensively. So you want an acre of land, there is more intensive farming, and you reduce the unit cost of producing. From a health perspective, look at Barbados for our chicken. Barbados would consume the chickens that are produced locally in Barbados. Because we are members of the WTO in this region, we cannot come here and say, we're not importing chicken from the US. I had to go to Geneva to defend even our position when it came to the quota for the poultry farmers. So what we have to do is to re-engineer our patterns of consumption so that we decide consciously that we are going to create a greater market for agricultural produce by consuming at the domestic level. So we meet the required quality to even export to any country in the world, whilst we have that quality produce. In fact, what we should experiment with is when we produce a chicken, from the breast, from the time you remove the breast, we're supposed to recoup the cost of producing that chicken. So the rest of it would be profit. And maybe the time has come for us as a small country to demonstrate that we are capable of producing at minimum cost so that we can eat, consume locally, more healthy foods that we produce, cut on the import bill, and try to export a bit more. Thank you.
I'm a member of the Babonnneau Rural Women, and under the leadership of the Labour government, we were housed in the Ponwaso plants. And then, whilst we were there, we encountered some problems that we could not really produce what we wanted in the conditions that we were there. So they promised us, the Labour government promised us that they were going to retrofit the place to suit our needs. So they end up losing the election, and this government, which in power now, decided they were going to take the idea from the Labour government and then to retrofit the place to fit us inside of there. Right now, we are out of there. So I want to know what the Labour government will do when they get in power to get us back in there, because we don't have a home, and we need a home for us to produce our things. Because what we are doing now, the members are producing at their homes. When you produce at your homes, in different homes, the quality of the thing that you produce, it does not come to one standard. Because if I produce something home and another one produces something at their home, then it will not be at a standard. But if everybody comes one place under one umbrella, in one place, then we were able to produce quality. And now we should have been exporting what we have, because we have so much wasted things. We have 5 fingers wasting, we have breadfruit wasting, we have, we could have do macambo flour, breadfruit flour, plantain flour, green bananas, we could do so many things, and now we have no place. All the equipment that we had are spread out at all different members' homes. So I want to know what the Labour government is going to do to put us back where we are.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I know that one of the, well, it's my assumption, one of the talking points for the next campaign is going to be corruption, right? Because we have a high level of corruption happening with this current administration. And we just want to know, what is the Labour Party's view on corruption, and how you guys are going to deal with it, given that you're going to form the next government?
Thank you very much, my brother. Thanks very much. Number 3.
Yes, good evening. I see written on the board, no health care privatization. And I've heard discussions about this. What I want to know is, are we saying that when we get into power, or if we're in government, we will have a no health care privatization policy, or are we saying right now that we are not going to tolerate the plans by the existing government to privatize health care? And if they do privatize health care, can we squash it or not? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. Great questions. Yes, sister. Number 4.
Yes, I don't have a question. I just want to make a comment. Let me welcome the Labour Party in Babonnneau. And political leader, I am yet to believe what I'm hearing. because tonight I listened to you and I have not heard you at any one time stutter one moment, so maybe you have to continue to come to Babonnneau.
Maybe it's Babonnneau.
The breeze in Babonnneau, I think, is very healthy. I just want to stress that while we listen here, and some of the supporters of the Labour Party sometimes fall prey to a lot of propaganda or what we call mind manipulation. And I want to say that I am very heartened that the Labour Party started the Tuesday Town Hall in Babonnneau. And the mood and the energy in the room will set the pace for what is to come in the future discussions. And one of the things I want to stress about the Babonnneau meeting, political leader, I want to applaud you, and I have been monitoring you very closely. And I think this is about the 4th or 5th time since you have been in Babonnneau, since you are a political leader. You may not have been recording it, but I'm monitoring you. And Babonnneau people like to rub shoulders with the top leaders of the party. That's one thing about them. And you are getting it right. And I want to remind our people that some of the finest qualities of leadership in you is that you are down to earth, you are simple, you are humble, you are a worker, you are focused, and you are using us to formulate your vision for St. Lucia. And that lesson that I'm giving tonight is one you must never forget, that you must stay close to your people. St. Lucia has stopped, and now it is in reverse, and we are close to the cliff. So we are about falling over. And you need to send that rope to prevent St. Lucia from falling over that cliff. Babonnneau is right now dead asleep. We are snoring because nothing is happening in Babonnneau. Nothing. We are concerned about healthcare. We are concerned about jobs. And I'm telling you, I travel on a road that was built by God because it is so holy. There are so many holes in the road that I say it's God that built it. So I want the Labour Party to document. I heard Brother Sean Edwards spoke earlier, and when he explained about the lights at Foasso, I applauded him because I was there at the session at Foasso when he spoke about the light for Foasso playing field. But a lot of our people may not remember that. And I want Labour Party to document all the things they had in the pipeline, the things that they had done, so nobody takes credit for the work of the St. Lucia Labour Party.
With regards to the CIP monies collected between 2016 and 2019, thus far unaccounted for, how do we find out what happened to these monies? And most importantly, how do we ensure that another government does not go through this process again?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Question on the Babonnneau rural women. Let me assure you that when you get into government, we will find a place for you to practice your trade. And I want you to remember that I said so on the 2nd of July in the Babonnneau Secondary School. We're going to find a place because that is the kind of development, the development of small and micro business. That's the kind of development. And when we meet you again, we will discuss our policy regarding small, micro, and medium-sized businesses. So when we get back into government, we will find a place for you within a reasonable time so you can practice your trade. In terms of healthcare privatization, The Labour Party has made it clear that we are against the privatization of healthcare, and when we get into government, we are going to reverse. We've put on warning, we've put everyone on warning that if the health services of the country are put in private hands, when we get into government, we shall reverse it. I want to thank you, Dr. Poyot, for your words, but you'll get one thing from me. You'll get honesty, you'll get trust, you'll get competence, and you'll get a government for the people and of the people. That is what you will get from me if you make me Prime Minister of St. Lucia. In terms of the CIP, very shortly, Dr. Hilaire will bring a motion into the House asking the government again to reverse some of the policies on the CIP program. The government took the National Economic Fund and they changed it from how it was after they'd made several changes regarding the CIP, which we told them was not the right thing to do. They went ahead and they did it. Now they've adjusted the National Economic Fund, and when we get into government, if they do not reverse it, we are going to reverse it, we are going to change it, and we'll make the CIP money work for the benefit of the people of St. Lucia, as is done in Dominica and these other countries. Because if you go to Dominica today, you will see what the CIP money is doing for the people of Dominica. But the government of St. Lucia believes that they could take the CIP money and put it in the National Economic Fund. That will be controlled by civil servants. And all the civil servants, their boss is the Minister of Finance. What kind of transparency can you have when you have a board that comprises, out of 7 members, there are 5 civil servants. And these civil servants, all of them report to the Minister of Finance, who is the minister in charge of the CIP. So what kind of transparency is that? When we get into government, we are going to reverse that, and you will know, because we will return to the situation where we are going to come to the Parliament and report to you what we intend to do with the CIP money. So we can assure you that that will happen. In terms of corruption, as I told you, this government has tried in many ways to pin corruption on members of the Labour Party. They have not succeeded, and I can assure you they will not succeed. And the government that I will lead will have a zero tolerance for corruption at all levels. So if someone is involved in stealing from a supermarket and another one is involved in stealing from the government, both of them will face justice. We believe in a zero tolerance policy towards corruption, and we will close all avenues for corruption. And all my ministers are aware that corruption will not be part of the modus operandi of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So I can assure you that any deed of corruption that can be proven, the people who are guilty will be brought to justice, just like the ordinary man and woman who breaks the law. Whether you break the law with a jacket and tie, or you break the law in a short pants, you have broken the law, and you will suffer the consequences if you break the law. So the Labour Party will lead a government, will have a government that will be, there will be a zero tolerance towards all forms of corruption, a zero tolerance. And I can assure you of that from our government.
Thank you very much, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. We are about to end our session, but just before we leave, let me take just a minute or two to assure the lady who spoke about the Fondation Center that we are very serious about our intentions for small business, as our political leaders said. I wish to remind you that the Fondation Center and the Angers Rural Women's Centers, together with the Cocoa Fomentry at Angers, were all retrofitted under the Agricultural Transformation Program, or the BAM. And the BAM agreement was signed by the St. Lucia Labour Party government, and implementation had started with water tanks to farmers, oil and fungicide to fight black sigatoka, the retrofitting of the Fondation and Angers facilities. All of these were done under the Agricultural Transformation Program. I see the UWP stating that they commenced the Agricultural Transformation Program. That is not true. That is not true. So it is unfortunate that the people for whom these centers were retrofitted are now out of the centers. It is a pattern of this government that facilities that are there to benefit the working people of St. Lucia are handed over to friends, family, and foreigners. I wish at this point to indicate that meetings continue at the local level here in the Babonnneau constituency, with the annual general meeting on the 28th of July. I also wish to indicate to you that our next Town Hall Tuesday will be where? Grosile. In the constituency of Grosile on the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd of July. All residents of Grosile and surrounding communities are invited. All of you are also invited to join us, as we will have additional presenters and other issues to discuss, to share, and to vibe up with you. I thank every single one of you tonight. And I want you in a very special way to give a round of applause to the very young ones who are here with us tonight. Welcome. Thank you very much to all the older residents who are here with us. It looks like you are just not giving up. I want to say to you, on behalf of the political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the parliamentarians, the executive of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the officers of the St. Lucia Labour Party, I wish you a pleasant good evening. Thank you very much for such a wonderful event. We apologize. Sister Alvina did indicate to us that she'd be absent, and I forgot to say so on her behalf. But thank you very much. Please drive home safely, and we look forward to the next Town Hall Tuesday in Grosile. Thank you very much.